Have you heard the legend of the lost city of Luz De La Luna? An ancient city hidden deep in the Amazonian jungle, said to be a city that is home to a rare and valuable resource that cannot be found anywhere else in the world. It is called moonrite, a mineral that glows a radiant blue in the light of the moon and is more durable than any known earth metal. A lie's tale, perhaps, but over the many years, few explorers have stumbled upon glimpses of a great glowing city in the night of the Amazon jungle. A civilization hidden deep within the jungle, beyond their comprehensions. Those explorers would never make it home. All transmissions ended with the sound of metal and a shadowy figure looming in the light of the moon. Some explorers believe that Luz De La Luna exists, others that the Amazon jungle is a truly dangerous place. Welcome to the hero reveal of Luna, the guardian of the hidden glowing city known as Luz De La Luna. Luna has 275 health and she is a damage hero. Luna has a passive ability. For every 4th basic attack that Luna uses, her weapon will launch a ranged attack of blue moonrite energy that will travel in a crescent moon shape in the direction her target is aiming in. The energy will travel up to a maximum of 25 meters before stopping, or it will stop at the first enemy, wall, or object hit. Luna's left click and basic attack is called Moon Scythe. Luna's basic attack is a melee weapon called the Moon Scythe, with a fairly large swing range of 16 meters. This is very similar to Reinhardt's basic attack and mechanic, being a similar melee weapon. Luna's E ability is called Call of the Moon. Select a target within 35 meters and throw your Moon Scythe towards it. The Moon Scythe will leap to the location and impale the ground. If there happens to be enemies where the scythe lands, they will be stunned for 1.25 seconds. This can affect multiple enemies, though the radius is quite small to reduce chances of Luna being able to stun an entire enemy team. So I'm thinking more of a direct hit by the scythe to be able to stun them. Once the scythe has been impaled into the ground, by pushing the E button again, you'll be able to leap towards the location and pick up your weapon. And as you do, give it a mighty swing around you that will damage nearby enemies for a set amount, and it will return your weapon to you. The Moon Scythe will remain impaled into the ground for a total of 4 seconds once it has been thrown to a new location, and eventually it will return to you. As a slight nerf, during the time that your weapon is launched and impaled into the ground, you'll be unable to attack with your basic attack, making you quite vulnerable without a means to defend yourself. Also, leaping towards your weapon can be blocked via obstacles, walls, or even enemy stuns or sleeps or player summoned objects. So be wary that timing is everything when using Call of the Moon to leap into the fray of a group of enemies. Cooldown for Call of the Moon is 14 seconds. Luna's left shift ability is called Moon Cycle. Luna becomes empowered with the light of the moon and can shift between 4 main states of the moon upon selection. I was initially going to do all 8 phases of the moon, but for practicality's sake and balancing the character, I'm just going to go with 4, gaining a variant of effects depending on where it lands once she uses it. Think similar to the spin mechanic of the generators in Dead by Daylight, to where there's a spinning gorge that will spin around the target area, and wherever you release it at, you will gain that effect and that state of the moon for 4 seconds. The 4 states of the moon cycle will be the new moon state. The first area the gorge will start in, and if you release a spin in this area, Luna will gain a short burst of 20% movement speed for the next 4 seconds. The first quarter state is next, and if you land on this area, Luna will gain a 20% attack speed boost for the next 4 seconds. Next up is the full moon state. This is Luna's most powerful state, and also the smallest area of the circle, making it much harder to land on, especially in the middle of combat. The full moon state will give Luna a 20% damage increase, and will also give her a 20% movement increase for the 4 seconds that it lingers. And lastly, the last quarter state. This state will give Luna a 20% damage reduction for the next 4 seconds if landed on. As a slight nerf to this ability, when you activate Moon Cycle, you'll be unable to move or attack while the gorge is spinning and you are selecting your Moon Cycle, meaning that you can become quite vulnerable to enemies during this time. While Moon Cycle is active, it will do one full spin before starting the cooldown and ending the ability. If you have not selected a Moon state after the first spin, the ability will end. Activating this mid-combat could see you quickly settling for an easier state like the new Moon state and its speed boost, rather than waiting for the full moon or last quarter state to land. The spin itself, I imagined, wouldn't be as fast as the Dead by Daylight generator spin, but quite close. Cooldown for Moon Cycle is 12 seconds. Luna's ultimate ability is called Shadow of the Moon. Luna activates her ultimate within a 10-meter area of effect around her that lasts for a maximum of 7 seconds. Inside this area, all allies, including Luna herself, as well as enemies that enter it, will be shrouded and will become invisible as Luna moves freely with her allies under the cover of the moon, gaining a 20% movement speed boost while inside it. Enemies inside do not gain the movement speed boost. Attacking while inside the stealth area will reveal yourself to enemies, and it will take a full 2 seconds to become cloaked again while not attacking and inside the area of effect. Attacking only reveals the hero that attacked, and it will not reveal your other allies if they are also inside the circle. If enemies attack the area, you and your team will still take damage, but you won't be revealed unless you yourself attack or the ability ends. Keep in mind, enemies will still be able to gorge whether they've hit you or not by the damage indicator, so you can still die while inside the area of effect. The enemy team won't be able to see the area of effect, but if they enter it, everyone inside the area will be revealed to them, no matter if they are attacking or not. As an added effect, if an enemy enters the area, they will become cloaked from their allies. This will restrict them from being targeted by their team, meaning that they will not be able to get heals or buffs until they attack. Some nerfs for this ability. If Luna herself attacks while this is active, this will immediately end Shadow of the Moon and it will start the ultimate charge meter. Though as a bonus, Luna herself can still activate her other abilities such as Call of the Moon and Moon Cycle without cancelling the ultimate ability, meaning that a great combo could see her activating the ultimate and then using Call of the Moon to stun enemies, leap to the enemies as your stealth zone follows you, gaining the ability to stun and damage enemies while cutting them off from the enemy team and isolating them, preventing them from their heals and buffs for a short duration, or if you just want to cancel your ultimate and take the kill yourself. Sound will not be restricted during the ultimate from your team and enemies. A direct counter to this ability will be Widowmaker's ultimate and abilities such as Hanzo's Sonic Arrow, so timing, like with all abilities, will be key when using them. And finally, let's delve into the new season, which I assume would probably be titled JungleWatch, due to the general naming of things. Now I know what you guys are thinking, Overwatch did something jungle themed somewhat recently with Morga's Season 8, titled Call of the Hunt, but to be fair, it wasn't the best season and I feel like a proper jungle themed season could be done quite successfully with a bit of direction and planning. Morga's season just felt a little bit lazy to me and I didn't enjoy it too much. Here is this season's new map. The map will be called Luz De La Luna. It would be an Amazon-styled escort map that has a dense jungle filled with vines, hollowed out tree trunks that you can walk through, and giant trees and their canopies as you enter them. Starting in a downward slope from the attacker's side, you will enter from a mountain that views the vast jungle ahead. Your jeep and supplies are ready to go as a campsite has been set up with tents. As explorers, you are here to discover the long-lost city and find the hidden treasures. As you head down the mountain slope and into the jungle, you'll come across a few turns in the deep jungle up to a river, the Amazon River, with giant lily pads that you can even jump on and a bridge that you'll be able to traverse over. As you venture through the jungle, many twists and turns, as well as hollowed out tree trunks that can be walked through or jumped on, will create secret passages to cut off enemies for sneak attacks, and there will even be certain areas where players can climb up or grapple on to gain vantage points in trees for perfect ranged or sniper assaults. As attackers progress further into the escort map, the city of Luz De La Luna will begin to appear, glowing in the light of the moon in its vastness. It will be the final destination and conflict of the Escort Map for defenders to defend. On top of this, perhaps a cool detail would be to add some skulls and bones, maybe even a plane wreck or two, or a dead hanging explorer in the trees dangling with his parachute that may have tried to find the lost city along the path to Luz De La Luna. As an addition, this season there will be a new healer play of the game mechanic, to play either alongside or before the actual play the game once the match is over. This will give some love to those always faithful healers and supports that, to be fair, are the real pillars of our team when played correctly in game. This can probably be decided off the fastest amount of healing in the shortest amount of time, or even in situations where a player gets multiple kills while being boosted by your support member. I can see this being implemented in one of two ways. The first is probably, in my opinion, the best way to do it, being shown in a similar method as a regular play the game spotlight, but for a healer, noted as a play the game healer or a play the game support title, something along those lines, to where the healer's win screen is shown first, as well as the gameplay prior to the actual play the game for the match as per normal. Note, this can also be the same hero for the actual play the game if that hero manages to heal and also gets a standard play the game in the same match. Though obviously the gameplay that'll be shown will be different. If it isn't or clipped around the same area, it will just show the same gameplay once with the two titles on the character, just to avoid doubling up. As a slight minor downside, this would increase lobby times at the end of each match, but personally I feel like that could actually make it more fun to converse with players over the game that you've just played, and potentially make some new friends or teams, and it would also give players more chances to shine in this way. The second method I imagined would be to have the play the game support role animation shown first, followed by the actual play the game win screen and the gameplay second. But the only gameplay that is shown here is the actual play the game and not the healer's gameplay. It will give you an increased chance to actually play your purchase win screen from the shop, as in most cases it is super rare that a support character gets a spotlight for having a play the game unless they are doing some serious grifting. Next up, we have a really cool arcade mode for the season, which will be a map exclusive mode, being Luz De La Luna, just to show off the new map and add some exciting new changes for certain characters. In this mode, it will only allow 6 exclusive characters, 2 from each role, which will also represent the new skins that will be available for the season. This mode will allow players to try out the new skins before unlocking them permanently, including this season's mythic skin, which will be for Widowmaker. There was a slight downside: unless you have higher than the level 1 mythic style unlocked for her skin, you will only be able to select the mythic style level 1 as a default for the mode exclusively. Otherwise, unlocking it through the battle pass will be required to further show it off in the arcade mode and other queues respectively. The new arcade mode will be titled Jungle Frenzy, and it will see 2 heroes, as mentioned before, from each role selection doing battle with slight modifications to each of their abilities over the new Escort jungle styled map known as Luz De La Luna. First up in the tank roles, and with his new skin, we have Jungle Explorer Morga. Basically think The Rock in Welcome to the Jungle meets any explorer visual stereotype such as Indiana Jones, with the cream button shirt, hat, and long pants. Yes, sadly this does mean that Morga will be wearing a shirt for once, which will kinda be funny, but maybe we can make it an open button-up shirt like his Port de Pack skin. During this mode, Morga's overrun ability will gain a 90% cooldown reduction, giving him great movement during the match. Though as a downside, he will lose his unstoppable effect while charging, meaning that he'll now be susceptible to crowd control effects, and furthermore, his stomps at the end of his overrun charge will now do no damage to enemies, and it will not be able to knock up enemies when he stomps. Though the collision damage if Morga hits a target directly during his charge, as well as a knock-up during his charge, will still apply. Morga during this mode will also have a 10% base movement speed reduction when not using his overrun ability. Next up we have the second tank, and the skin is Primal Rage Winston. basically picture Winston without any of his armor or glasses, and instead he takes on a more aggressive jungle looking theme with veiny muscles and sharp teeth protruding from his mouth. He will gain a silver marking upon his back similar to that of a silverback gorilla and resembling something closer to his ultimate form, but in his base and with no armor. During his ultimate form, he will maintain the red aura as he rages out, but it will show more of a muscular physique as he glows red without his armor and gains the lightning and highlighted yellow eyes, though I was thinking perhaps in this case his eyes could glow red instead of yellow. During the arcade mode, Winston's jump pack ability will be unavailable, and instead it will be replaced with Genji's cyber agility passive, allowing him to climb and double jump just like Genji can, though visually instead of doing a flip, he will be beating his chest mid-air as he jumps. As an added bonus, if Winston lands from a wall he's climbed up or a height which is greater than 5 meters, he will be able to slam down onto the ground as he lands, damaging enemies and knocking them up briefly as he does this. First up for supports is one of my favourite skins that I've thought up so far, and that is Water Lily Lifeweaver. Lifeweaver's back flowers become a broken up giant green lily pad. Instead of the pointed flower edges, they become round and gain that green dewy colouring to them. His skin also becomes a murky watery texture, similar to the Surf's Up Echo skin style, to represent the water beneath the lily pad, though the water itself is quite murky and browny green like Amazon water would be. Perhaps even a piranha or two will be swimming inside as a means for great detail to the skin. His armor also gains a green and blue tinge to it to show moss and seaweed beneath the surface, and perhaps this can be the theme to his white hair as well, which visually I think would look really awesome, and I would perhaps put this more towards the end of the battle pass due to just how cool this could be and that we are finally getting a decent and unique Lifeweaver skin. During Jungle Frenzy mode, Lifeweaver's modification will be rather simple, but also quite fun, and personally I feel like this should actually be made as a standard in his regular kit. Lifeweaver will gain a total of 3 charges to his petal platform ability, like Symmetra has for her turrets, giving Lifeweaver the ability to modulate his team further to the high ground or disrupt his enemies, meaning that during this mode you could actually make a really cool combo with Winston with his slams, and this will help you escape Morga's endless charges during this mode. And the other support for this mode and her skin will be Tropical Bird Mercy. Now it isn't the Amazon without a toucan. Mercy's wings will become feathered like that of a toucan's vibrant colours, as well as the front armor plates that drop to her sides in feathers. Mercy also gains a colourful patterned beaked toucan mask on her face, though perhaps a more festival abstract style mask, just to avoid it being a little bit too silly with a giant toucan beak poking out. The armor itself will also become black to represent the toucan's black feathers over its body. During this mode, Mercy will gain a 50% cooldown reduction to her resurrection ability, though as a downside, heroes that are resurrected by Mercy during this mode exclusively will only gain 20% of their full health when they are resurrected. Also, once a hero has been resurrected, they will gain a resurrection block and cannot be further resurrected for 60 seconds after, though this block will be removed from allies if they die and are sent to the spawn. And lastly, the 2 damage rolls of this season's arcade mode and skins. First up will be Solar Flare Luna. I couldn't not have Luna in her own map on release and not give her a new skin. Solar Flare Luna is sort of a take on the Inti warriors like Iliari and a direct opposite to her normal Luna and Moon inspired form. Fun fact also, it is actually a fun callback to how I was originally going to design her and where my original inspirations came from, being the legendary golden city of El Dorado. In this skin, Luna's armor will turn golden and she will be bathed in the light of the sun, giving a more sun warrior Iliari with golden armor feel to her. Her moon scythe will also be glowing yellow instead of blue, as well as her eyes. Though, as a slight downside to the Solar Flare skin, this particular skin will only be available through shop purchase and will not be available in the battle pass or in the arcade mode unless you have purchased it yourself, then you can choose it for the mode. Though, after the new season is over, the skin will become available to purchase through normal means and normal Overwatch coins on the character skin screen. During the Jungle Frenzy arcade mode, Luna will gain a 90% cooldown to her Call of the Moon ability, though as a downside, Luna will lose the ability to stun enemies if they are in the area that her scythe hits, just to reduce the number of stuns that she can pull off quickly in this particular mode, as playing against that would not be fun at all. And lastly, we have the mythic hero of the season, and that is Black Jaguar Widowmaker. In this skin, Widow's armor becomes as black as the night, to where if light is shimmering off it, you will see the gleam of glowing Jaguar spot patterns shimmering over it. Though in the dark, she will remain hard to see. In the purple areas of her standard skin, they will instead be glowing in a fiery vibrance in whatever certain color it is, while in the light, depending on the level you have of the skin. This will also include the purple areas on her weapon. At level 1 in the base mythic skin, the purple areas will glow a vivid orange, like the eyes of the Jaguar, while she is out in the open. On her head, she will have a panther-styled headpiece, over where her normal night vision headgear is, and instead there will be glowing panther eyes that when targeting through her sniper rifle, it will close up, giving her the appearance of a Jaguar sniping with glowing jungle eyes. On the headpiece, there will also be sharp teeth that will close down when she is in snipe mode. At level 2 of the mythic skin, she will gain a deep purple glowing color over the areas that are normally orange, including her panther head's eyes. And finally at level 3, a shimmering blue color will glow in those areas and eyes, representing Luz De La Luna's Moonlight, allowing her to glow in the light of the moon as the same color, meaning that as an added bonus to this mythic, Widow will glow in the light, be it moon or sun, and her colored areas will dull in the dark. For the Jungle Frenzy mode, Widowmaker's grapple hook ability will gain a 90% cooldown reduction, meaning that she can swing around the map and through the trees like Tarzan quickly to reposition herself and her sniper shots. As a downside though, her targeting scope will take an additional 10% longer to reach a full 100% charge. I think this would be a really wicked season as we venture into the deep and dangerous Amazon jungle to uncover all its hidden mysteries. Thank you for watching the hero reveal of Luna, the guardian of the hidden glowing city known as Luz De La Luna.